Hello, hello. Every
Good
Tuesday. I love every
morning.
Tuesday. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing this happy Tuesday? Well,
Election day.
election day. Did you vote yet? Did you vote? That's the biggest question for today. This is going to be a long day, I feel like. Everyone's going to be glued to their TVs, I know. So,
That-
so with that said, we are coming on because we're putting a smile on your face as we always try to do every Tuesday. And before we even start, because we have our special guest here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, but myself and the other B, Miss Barbara, we have changed our show name. And it was inspired by the other Barbara and another person that she was talking to. And Barbara, you want to share and then tell the new name?
Absolutely. You know what? The Happiness 101 show, we did it as a lark, and we weren't sure that who we were and how it was going to go. So, but now it's been since June 23rd. This is now November. And you know what? We just said, we have to really decide what our name is. It's not the Happiness 101 show. So, my company itself is called Trends in Marketing Enterprises, which is time. And Barb Beckley, of course, is all about shine, making your diamond shine and the diamond factor and the diamond factor experience and all of those things. And a friend of mine said to me, she said, well, why don't you just combine the two names? And I went, oh, gee, what would it be? So our new name is called Time to Shine Happiness Show. And and people are loving it. So this is our new name. So we are the Time to Shine Happiness Show. So welcome to our show.
I thought I was like, wow, as soon as she told me about it, I said, yep, I resonate with it. It fits. I love it. I love it. We're combined with both of our brands and both of our personalities. So, time to shine happiness show every Tuesday at 8:30, and
Yep.
we always have a special guest. So I don't want to keep her waiting. So Miss, um, I want you to just introduce yourself because I don't want to mess up anything. So
I
Olivia, please
will.
introduce you.
I am Olivia Parwood. And do you want me to tell a little bit about myself?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
So it's just so fun to be here. I love your new name. And what I like to do is bring wisdom, which I think we all need today on election day. So I started out as a data scientist many years ago. I was kind of this mystical kid that had a very active brain, and school was always hard for me to concentrate, but math came easily. So I ended up studying math, but I really had this interest in sort of spiritual concepts and esoteric ideas. And so finally I studied math, and I ended up getting into the corporate world, but I always had this interest for more holistic ideas and systems and patterns. And after 30 years of consulting, I really saw a need in business for more human skills. So I've written a couple technical books, and then I wrote a book called Love at Work, which is it's kind of my journey, but I also have a lot of information at the beginning about how companies that treat people well with caring and compassion actually make more money. And so I feel like my overall purpose in life is to bring love into business. And the way I'm doing that is I, being kind of a senior citizen, am now starting to shine, time to shine for me, and take my wisdom out into the world and also help others. So I've created this idea called wisdomology, which is a process where you access and package and share your wisdom with the world. So I'm hoping to help others, and I'm creating or birthing right now the Wisdom Institute, which will be a platform for people to get their wisdom out and hopefully share with the corporate world where this kind of wisdom is needed so much.
Right.
Wow, I like that. I like that.
And can you see why I thought Olivia would be a great guest?
Yes, yes, definitely. And when you
Because
mentioned the corporate world, I think that's needed. I mean, what you're producing and creating, Olivia, that yes, it's much needed, especially now with the
right,
wisdom that we need. Yeah.
right. Because I think people and companies and the corporate culture is finally realizing that when they are a heart-centered business, it just impacts every other area of their business. Like you can get some of the bigger companies like Hobby Lobby. Their whole culture is all about taking care of their employees, and they're huge.
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A is another one. Chick-fil-A doesn't serve on Sundays because that's their culture, that they believe that every employee deserves a day off, a universal day off type of thing. And it's just so, this is just wow. Thanks, Olivia. That's
Yeah, and I'd love to share a little awe I had maybe 15 years ago. So I used to keep my world separate, my spiritual side, and I wouldn't really talk about it in the harsh corporate world. And then one day I realized that the data work I was doing and the technology work I was developing was making it necessary for businesses to adapt more quickly. So maybe 75, maybe 100 years ago, companies could have a very top-down, fear-based culture, and it might work because most of the workers were low skilled. But today, because of the speed of change and the need for companies to adapt quickly, the old command and control hierarchical model just isn't efficient enough.
right.
By the time an idea gets from, say, the factory room floor up to the CEO and back down, the opportunity is usually lost. So I actually made an argument in my second chapter of my book to say that companies that really want to thrive have to be adaptable, meaning they've got to treat their people well and give them resources in order to really compete. And I do think that is why companies that treat their people well actually do better in the long run. So it kind of made sense logically, which really helped me with my argument, reconciling the two sides of my brain.
Yeah.
But then you had to start employing it. And I think that's what happens so often to people. In fact, in my devotional this morning, it was talking about using your talents and your gifts to get the word out there of whatever it is that you are doing. And so, Olivia, I commend you, because now you're getting out there and doing, the same way that Barb is getting out, let your diamond shine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all using, because we all hear differently, we all respond differently.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like you get a lot of more, I mean, talking on the corporate side, more production from people when you have that heart centered and showing, bringing that wisdom to them, and you just caring basically. Because, I was funny because I'm a dual business person. I work during the day, regular corporate job, and then at night I do all the Diamond Factor stuff. And I see on both ends that, it's really needed. And I'm noticing that corporate is trying to slowly they're trying to bring that in, especially now with the pandemic coming in and all this, the economy, all this, everything. That I think they're looking at the fact that, okay, what can we do? What can we do now? It's like this is a must, it's a need now. It's not like, well, let's think about it. It's more so now they're saying, I think this is a need. I think we need to do this. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too, because about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I did a radio show for Voice America for a year and a half, where I interviewed top level people in the corporate world who had new ways of structuring and modeling and treating people. And what I would always ask them, okay, so this company hired you to come in and change the culture. Like, how did it work? And let's say of the top leadership team of 10, for example, how many of them could embrace it? And they almost always said, without fail, about a third of them would be like, yes, this is what we want. And a third of them would be like, okay, and they'd need coaching. And then another third would just say, I can't do this, and they would leave. So it's really interesting. And there are companies like some of the big insurance companies that are really struggling because their leadership teams they've been there for so long, and they just can't make the change. And yet they see these younger, more agile companies eating their lunch in the corporate world, in the profits. So it's a big struggle. But what I've also noticed in some of the leadership training I've done is that the people that go through the transformation themselves, it not only helps their company, it helps their personal life, their families, their children. Like it's what we need for everyone. And I feel like corporations, many of the large ones, are bigger than most nation states. And if we can get those huge organizations to become more love-centered, it can just have a major impact on the planet.
You know, it's funny you mentioned, Olivia, about the insurance and how they're still kind of, I call them old school, because I'm in insurance and I've been doing it for 39, 40 years.
Oh my God.
Still doing it with one of the biggest brokerage firms. And that's why I said there's slowly. And I think, you know, it's hard for them to let go of something that, like you said, that they're used to just doing, and you know, they didn't even have to think about it. It's like, okay, this is the culture. This is what we do. And then all of a sudden you're like, really? You want us to do what? You want us to, you want us to really just show our, you know, like, you know, and even we had a town hall meeting 2 weeks ago, online, virtual, of course. And there was like, maybe we have like 400 people, you know, 430 so employees. So they're all on the line listening to, you know, the leadership, our top leaders, and they're like, okay, we're going to talk about, you know, what's going on, you know, for the last quarter, and, you know, it's going to their thing. And then all of a sudden you had the diversity person come on and they said, you know, let's just take some time out to really just ask some poll questions on how everybody's doing in this particular, you know, need in this pandemic. And you could just tell how it went from, let's show the numbers, to, oh, you know, there's some people out there. Hello, you know.
Yeah, that we really are people, that we all have, you know, wants and needs and desires, and
It was
that
just
we're
like,
not just a number on a paycheck.
Like you said, Bar, you could tell the shift from to, oh, we really want to care about you. You are out there somewhere in virtual land. Let's say hello.
Right. Yeah, but you know, that's one of the things, you know, like I truly believe that out of what's going on right now, this is going to, because people are now coming together in town hall meetings, they're coming together on Zoom, they're bringing you these huge gatherings together of learning and leadership, that we're going to look back on this time 10 years from now and go, that's where it started. As awful as what we're going through is now, I mean, this is not a good thing, but we're going to look back on it and go, that's, wow, that started this revolution of caring and, you know, having a more heart-centered culture worldwide.
I think, oh, sorry. I was going to say that I think you're right. And what I think there's been this interesting realization that we can connect all over through Zoom, but many of us still crave the physical. And I think
Exactly.
that eventually, when this all kind of ends, which I think is going to be very soon, that we'll probably have blended things. So we've been able to, I know I've been able to meet people from all over the world that I maybe wouldn't have met otherwise. And in the future, maybe a training will be partly physical, but there will be a virtual aspect to it, so that we can have this beautiful blend, and then really make it all work in a more positive way for everyone.
Yeah, I like how you said, Olivia, about meeting. That's the one thing, because we always look for the positive out of everything. And like you stated, that we're meeting so many people around the global, you know, the world. Because I mean, I've been through, you know, I'm two, and I know we all been to webinars where, you know, you're talking to people from from France to Paris to everything, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I would have probably never been here with everybody, these women, especially the women groups I'm a part of, to meet them and really understand, and we're collaborating with each other. I mean, not just, you know, just friendship, but just in business too, and sharing each other's best practices. So, you know, in that sense, you know, I am liking that, you know, we can get on Zoom and do that. But like you said, you know, I think, you know, they keep saying the new norm, and I hate that word, but they say it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just something about that. That's going to be a combined mixture of, you know, we're still going to be able to do those physical hugs, hope, you know, finally, and then still have this platform that we really changed. It really changed us in a sense.
Yeah, and I think the pandemic, or the stress that we're all going through, has allowed people to shine in ways that maybe weren't expected. So people sometimes find some strength that they didn't access before that can, give people a new way to show up and feel good about themselves. So I think that's been a benefit as well.
And don't you think some people have now, because their traditional type of job has in many ways gone by the wayside, they're tapping into, well, I thought of doing that when I was 6.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, like, I can remember being a teenager and wanting to be a teacher, and took a student teaching class and realized that I would never, ever, 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 ever be a school teacher.
Mm.
But that was always in the back of my mind, that I always wanted to be a teacher. Well, now I've realized that it's just morphed a little bit, because my mission is to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And my purpose is to serve God, to learn, and then to teach what I learn. So now I have come full circle that I'm now 70, and I'm feeling that I am actually a teacher, because
Yes.
the things that I learn, and if you had told me that, it was like, yeah, no, I'll never, oh no, how could I possibly be a teacher? And yet it has just absolutely, now that I love getting out there and putting out content, doing this show.
Yes.
This has been an amazing opportunity to get that we deserve to be happy. And part of happiness is getting along with the people around you. And that's what I teach people how to do. Let's get along with the people around us.
Well, I
And
love the
personality
fact,
science. And it's like, oh yeah.
and I love how you're realizing this at 70. So this
At
was kind of my
70.
idea behind the Wisdom Institute, is that there are so many of us. I know the whole time I was a data scientist, 30 years, that really wasn't why I was here, but I wasn't
Right.
sure why. And I think we all have this purpose we're born with that we may not
Right.
really know what it is. And that's really my training is going to be to help people find out, what was that dream you had when you were 6 years old or 10
Right.
years old, and how can we find a way to let that happen for you. And I'm just so excited you're 70, because I'll be 70 in January, and I feel like I just feel like I'm
We don't
25
look it.
and
And
figured out what I
70
want
is
to
the
do
new
when I
50.
grow up. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is. I heard that 70's new 50. It's
70 is
awesome.
Yeah.
the new 50.
Right. And we don't have to like go play bridge and eat bonbons, but we can really do things to give back and
Right.
inspire others, and just change the definition of how we age. So I love
Well,
that.
I have to, I mean, okay, I have to commend both of you because, you just, I mean, and not the people, the audience out there, the listeners, if they don't get this, I don't understand what they're thinking. We just said that these two ladies, these young ladies, are in their 70s, and look what they're doing. Look what they're
Yeah.
doing. So I'm thinking, because I'm in my 50s, I have no excuse. None. None at all.
That's right.
And
That's
these
right.
are some power hitter ladies that are impacting people, that are recreating different things, doing their business, I mean, come on. Come on. I just have to commend you.
Well,
Commend you
thanks,
so
Mark.
much. So thank you. I mean, I was like, wait a minute now. We have to just take a pause here and say, look at what's going on. So no, you know what, you gave me inspiration to say, I have no excuses. None.
Yeah.
None.
And I think one of the things that, I mean, you were inspired. That's one of the things that I am so in tune with right now, is taking inspired action. When you are just, you have that inner, and to trust it, to trust that inner knowing that, oh, this is what I should do. This one little thing. And like with you, with the diamond factor. Wow. And when you and I first met, that was your thing. You were starting your diamond factor, and it was like, oh yeah, we should connect and do stuff together. But you know what? It didn't happen because both of us were percolating.
We were.
We were percolating on our own, but then all of a sudden, okay, our little percolation erupted. and we came together, and now we have this show that we've been doing now since June. And and that's it's time to shine.
Yeah.
Time to shine in happiness.
Go to the next level. Yes.
And go to the next
And
level.
I'd love to share something that motivates me. So I don't know about you or audience people listening, but I've had some really tough experiences in my life. I've had a lot of loss
Absolutely.
and tragedy. So one thing that motivates me is that I now know my purpose. And if
Right.
I don't act on it, I might have to come back and go through all that again. I don't want to do that. So I'm sort of, I call them cosmic 2x4s that woke me
Yeah.
up to get busy with my purpose. And so now I just say, okay, God, I'm on it. I don't need any more tragedy. Just like,
Yeah. Let's
let
just
me
do it.
do this, or help me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think, and I've said this before, that I always thought our purpose had to be this big, grandiose type of thing. It doesn't. It can be the still small voice that this is what I know I need to do. Like for me to serve God, to learn, and then to teach what I learned. It's that simple. And I think, and for so many years, I was caught up in the, what about, what grand thing am I supposed to be doing? Well, it doesn't have to be a grand thing. Your purpose could be to raise your children and then raise your grandchildren. And, to like a friend of mine, she's a dog walker. Absolutely. She loves it because she takes care of the dogs. And that's what she loves to do. And another friend of mine, she walks goats. And she's probably listening and hearing me tell everybody, but she walks goats because it makes her happy. And and it's like, do the things that make you happy, and then tell other people what you're doing, and they might join you. And that's what she did. I'm gonna tell on her, Sherry. I know you're listening. That she created a meetup for people to come and walk her goats. I can't tell you, I don't remember how many people actually showed up, and they all walked these goats.
I'm a Capricorn, so I might like that.
Yeah. And
that's another thing to think about doing. Well, see, this is, what, you're all talking my talk here, because, I always talk about purpose, passion, and drive in people's lives.
Exactly.
And just like you said, Barbara, just to emphasize that, it doesn't have to be this. Everybody's looking at this, this big, wonderful thing.
You have to do this big world-changing thing.
Yeah. And it's sometimes I tell people, it's just, if you just touch one person or even one goat, let's just put it there, that was your purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose Barbara, but that's your purpose.
Right.
That's what you feel. If it's making you happy, if it's something that's really energizing you, giving you that passion, then go for it. We only live one time in this lifetime. And I always say, why not? I mean, and you're never too late. You two wonderful young ladies are showing that right now. It's never too late to say, you know what? I'm going to try to tap dance now. Or, I'm just throwing it out there. Because somebody else was telling me the other day, they said, you know what? I got bored. So I just went online. I said, you know what? Maybe I'll just look at some tap dancing out of the blue. But they said, you know what? You never, just doing different things in life. Just try it.
Right.
They said their feet hurt afterwards, but at least they tried.
Right. Do things that move you, that do things that have movement to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And help get other people moving. That could be so valuable.
Yes.
I've done a lot of interviews with people who want to share wisdom and haven't. And what I find is many of them have some family trauma or some kind of early trauma where they were shut down for being big, big energetically. And so much of it is a healing process and really owning who they are. And like you said, it doesn't have to be big, but to just show up, because I feel like that's the key to happiness, is to really being authentically who we are and being vulnerable that way. And a lot of people have to do healing. There's great techniques using energy work and body somatic therapies to allow people to remove trauma that really allows them to show up and shine.
Yes. So important. Wow. So I know our time is near, but I just want to really just for you, Olivia, just if you can just share any wisdom, last wisdom for the group, before we say well good morning and goodbye at the same time. Share with the listeners.
Yeah. What I invite people to do is really look at what brings you joy during the day. So where is it you lose track of time and find yourself just in flow? Because that's a real clue to why you're here. When we really step into our purpose and start shining, we often just feel that happiness, that joy, and that and focus. So those are just some things to pay attention to if you want to shine and step into your wisdom. And I have a book, a free ebook at wisdomology.com that has a few more tips for finding your wisdom and sharing it if you'd like.
Well, we will definitely post that over the caption to make sure everybody, if they want to get that ebook, that they're able to do that. And we just thank you so much, Libby, for coming on the show, our Time to Shine Happiness show. I have to keep saying this because it's our new name.
Yeah,
I love it.
We would want you to come back, when you can. We really enjoyed you having me on the show.
Oh, thank you. I would love to come back. And thank you so much. Thanks for creating this. And wish everyone a wonderful day. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Barbara,
the
any last?
and just thanks again for creating this show. I mean, because it was your brainchild. And and Barb called me up one day and said, "Do you want to do a show on happiness?" And I said, "Absolutely, let's do it." And she went, "Let's do it." I said, "Well, yeah." I don't, let's do it because and we've said this before. My part of my personality code, I'm what's called a nurturer, but part of being a nurturer is that you like to do things as a team. You like to do things in community. That's what we value. We value community and doing things together. And I said, Barb, you know that I'm a nurturer. Why would you think that I want to do it by myself? This is just not going to happen. So let's do it.
Usually when you tell people I'm giving you a platform and you can do your show, and she's like, "No, let's do it together." But this is for you.
But I have to admit, the first time we did it, the first episode we recorded it, and went, "Oh, this doesn't feel right," because we want to do it as a community. Duh.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, okay, let's do it live," and it has been live ever since. So you know what? Just that's my thing. Sometimes, and you know what? All it is, lots of times, and I think both of you would agree with this. Sit back, take some time to just sit and be still and because our intuition is there. It knows, God gave us intuition. It's that still small voice that we have that we can but sit, and we have to listen to it. Sit and listen to it. And there will be one little inkling of, oh, I should do that. And once you take that first little step towards that, everything else will fall into place. And because it will lead you to one more step and one more step and one more person.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Barbara. That was good. That was good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. So everybody, Time to Shine Happiness Show. You will see us next Tuesday. And Barbara, is next Tuesday you're going to be, what Tuesday you're going to be?
I will not be here on the 17th. I have a previous commitment that I just cannot change. And so can't be in two places at once. So,
but you'll be here in spirit. So that day we'll still be on, but we'll have
we're going to have a co-host.
Co-host. So
in fact, yes. And in fact, she contacted me. She's checking her schedule to make sure that she's going to be able to do it. So I'll let you know later on today. So it'll be a previous guest that we had a great time with. But I have to admit, we have had a great time with all of our guests.
Yes, Olivia and everybody. I mean, every person we bring on, it's just, awesome. So thank you, everybody. Yeah. Have your time to shine today. And remember, if you haven't voted yet, please go out and vote. That's a civic duty that, you have, that a lot of people fought for in this world. So please take the time out to do that. Let
Let's
your
be
voice be
peaceful
heard.
about it.
And yeah, let's be, because I've been
Let's
hearing
have
some
some
things, and I'm
peaceful.
like,
You know what?
yeah,
So this is my only political statement. There are lots of things that people do not agree on, and we have that right to not agree. However, let's do it peacefully. Because there's two sides to every story. There is hot, cold, right, wrong in everybody's eyes. There's young, there's old, there's this, there's that. There's two sides to everything. So let's be peaceful about sharing what we disagree on, and then just agree to disagree peacefully.
yeah. And just like I said, the last thing is, let people hear your voice. And that's
Yeah,
what's important. Just let
yeah.
people hear your voice, because you have a right to do that. So with that, we'll see you on next Tuesday. Bye.
All
Thank you,
right.
Sweet
Have a
Olivia.
good one.
Thank you.